Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Upgrades. I'm Jeremy Noell.
And I'm John Suarez.
And in this episode, we're going to talk about the Ruthless Regiment deck, but switch it up to run Kelsien the Plague as the commander. So, Kelsien the Plague is a pretty sweet card. We've already seen it on Commander Versus. It's a human assassin for just the Mardu colors, just red, white, and black. And it's a 2/2 with Vigilance and Haste, and it says it gets +1/+1 for each experience counter you have. Tap it, it deals 1 damage to target creature you don't control. When that creature dies this turn, you get an experience counter.
Yep.
So pretty sweet. It can shoot down stuff. It's got that bow. It's a little archer.
Sure does.
Assassin. Kills them dead, and then gets bigger and bigger as it kills more and more creatures. So with this one, I believe John correctly named the theme Pew Pew.
Yes.
It's really, I love
pew,
that.
Pew
Pew Pew. So you went through most of the cards in this one. I think you were pretty excited for this deck.
I was. So the first card that I had, obviously, any Mardu deck now, these ultimatums that they printed in this Ikoria set are pretty powerful. So Ruinous Ultimatum is the first card that I immediately selected for this deck. This card's obnoxious. Just 7 mana, all your stuff's gone. Sorry. All my stuff's still here. It's a pretty obnoxious card. I get people don't like Cyclonic Rift because it's an instant, but this card's going to feel pretty bad the more it gets cast against you. So
yeah. Just already being somebody who plays in Garruk's Wake at, in certain decks, and just at 9 mana, it's already kind of annoying. It's like, oh, well, you killed all my creatures, but they still have their artifact ramp and stuff.
Yeah.
Nope,
everything.
Just everything.
All of it.
All non-lands.
Bury all of it.
Yeah. The next few ones that we talked about are sort of similar in their theme, but all have their own unique little takes on stuff. The first one I'll go over is the basic one, which is actually going to be Gorgon's Head.
Yep.
And that one's a 1 mana artifact equipment. It equips for 2, and it just says equipped creature has Deathtouch. So super great with Kelsien because you ping something with its ability, and it just dies no matter how big it is, unless it's indestructible, obviously.
Yeah. But still very, very powerful. And even if you don't have Kelsien out for whatever reason, being able to equip it to a creature and block, making sure that you kill whatever you block is great. Good card.
Yeah. Yep. Super great card. The next two are similar in nature. That's Basilisk Collar, which is very similar to Gorgon's Head, but it's a rare, so it has the addition of equipped creature has Deathtouch and Lifelink, but costs the same. It's 1 mana and then 2 to equip. And the last one is one that this one hurts. I have definitely been hit by this. It is Caetus Spike. It's a 3 mana equipment. Equipped creature has Deathtouch. Equip for 3, but says whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, that player loses half his or her life rounded up. Oh man,
yeah.
This card is just super me.
Yeah, that card it'll take chunks out of the game for sure. Kelsien having Vigilance, pretty nice to be able to attack, clear the blocker, and then have the spike take half their life. So
yeah,
these are all very similar types of cards, but this is exactly what Kelsien's trying to do. This is how that card controls the board to make sure that anything that's coming at it is taken care of.
Yep,
and grows while it's killing things. So all of a sudden, commander damage is a real way to win the game.
Yeah, it's very threatening, very quick.
Yep. Speaking of winning the game, the next card I have is one of my favorite cards printed in the last few years, which is Revel in Riches. 4 colorless and a black. Enchantment, whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, you create a treasure token. And whenever at the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 10 or more treasure tokens, you win the game. So really not that hard with Kelsien and an equipment that gives a Deathtouch.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling that if you have this going on, your group is going to decide they don't need to play any more creatures at all until they can figure out how to deal with Revel in Riches, which is great for you because then you just get to continue with your normal game plan. So.
Yeah, and it works really well with, I'm going to skip over and do another card that's very similar to Kelsien, and that's Goblin Sharpshooter.
Ah, the best pinger of all.
Love this pinger. So it's a 1/1 for 2 and a red goblin. It doesn't untap during your untap step, but whenever a creature dies, you get to untap it, and it's tap it, deal 1 damage to target creature or player. So if you can equip this with any of your Deathtouch equipment, it quickly becomes a machine gun. It just shoots down all of the creatures. Your Kelsien gets even bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can because you can just ping in response, ping it with Kelsien as well to just kind of get it bigger and bigger and bigger. So
sure,
it can clear the board real quick. Work with Revel and Riches to get all of those out of there, and then you've got all your treasure tokens to win the game. So
even if it doesn't have Deathtouch, a lot of the times there's just a bunch of either it's tokens or whatever the scenario is. There's just something you can kill.
Yeah, a few X1s on the board just means you're clearing out 3 or 4 or 5, however many extra creatures that you don't have to worry about anymore.
So in the vein of the equipments we were just talking about that give things Deathtouch, is one of my favorite cards because of my Kadena deck, which is Gift of Doom. This is a 4 colorless and a black enchantment, but you'll rarely cast it for that mana, most likely. This card also has Morph. So for 3 colorless, you can put it down as a 2/2 creature with no abilities, and its Morph cost is to sacrifice another creature. So when it's turned face up, you attach it to a creature, and the equipped or enchanted creature has Deathtouch and Indestructible, which is fantastic for Kelsien. Giving it Indestructible, giving it Deathtouch are the two things other than Hexproof, those are the two things you want Kelsien to have. So, very sweet card. You're probably not going to play too many other morphs in this deck, so it's not going to be a huge surprise, but maybe you do. Maybe you purposely put a morph or 2 in here to kind of throw it off.
Yeah, throw them off the scent just a little bit. Yeah, that could work. I'm going to let you actually go over the next one as well, because this was one that I know you were really excited about.
Yes. So obviously, Pew Pew, that's what we're trying to do here. We've talked about the Deathtouch equipments. We've talked about the Deathtouch enchantment aura and Gift of Doom. So I went back really far, all the way to Tempest, to find the card Death Pits of Wrath. This is an enchantment for 3 colorless and 2 black, so not exactly the most cost-effective card in the world, because things weren't that cheap back then. But it says, whenever a creature is dealt damage, gone. Destroy it. Cannot be regenerated. So, you don't have to worry about having Kelsien, or having an equipment for Kelsien. You just have Kelsien, or you have Goblin Sharpshooter with Death Pits of Wrath, and then it just becomes everything is gone. Now, it does work everywhere. Whenever any creature is dealt damage, destroy it. So, that's just part of the deal with a card like that. But very sweet card. Really big fan of it. Really cheap too. So if you have other pingers you want to throw into this deck, if you want to play cards like Volshock Sorcerer or any of those red, pinging creatures, goes really good with Death Pits of Wrath. Yeah.
And to help out a little bit, I'm going to skip down to the last one here. This is one that we talked about when we actually talked about the Jurina Kudoro deck when we were just doing that as the commander a while ago, and that's Dolmen Gate. So this will really help out because it's a 2-mana artifact that says prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to attacking creatures you control. Yeah. So it really helps out with Death Pits of Wrath because it actually just prevents that combat damage. So if you're not taking any of that damage, none of your creatures die, and all of theirs die, even if they're blocking with something really huge. So
really sweet. So, it's actually a pretty good combo.
Yeah, very, very sweet card there. I actually got that one from Olivia Gobert Hicks's Kelsien Obosh deck.
Nice.
She ran that. I've definitely fallen into that trap more than once. Like, oh right, I forgot they had that.
Let's see what else we got. We've got Magerite Stone.
Yeah,
that's a good one. So 2 colorless artifact. You could pay 1 and untap target creature that has an activated ability with a tap in it, which is going to be most of the creatures you're wanting to untap, obviously.
Yep.
So this will help you untap Kelsien so that you can ping something else, and if you happen to give it Deathtouch, it's going to kill 2 creatures. Same deal with Goblin Sharpshooter. Maybe you need to deal 2 damage to the creature for it to die. This will allow you to untap it, kill the creature, and then untap it again, which is pretty sweet.
Yep, and in a similar vein to that, another one that we suggested for the Jurina Kudro deck was Reconnaissance, which is another way that you can untap things. It's a 1 mana, 1 white enchantment, and it says, for 0, remove target attacking creature you control from combat and untap it. And the trick with this is wait until the end of combat after the damage has been dealt, and after the damage dealt step, then you can untap it, remove it from combat, and then you can use its ability again.
Yeah.
So
most people don't know.
Another way to give it like pseudo vigilance.
Yeah. Combat's a very convoluted part of Magic. So there is a part in combat after damage has been done that your creature is still an attacker, and you can activate Reconnaissance, which is pretty sweet. So, let's see. What do we have? One more here? All right.
Yeah.
So that's okay. We'll save the best for last. So the last card we have, unlike an equipment in Gorgon's Flail, Basilisk Collar, this one's an enchantment. Retreat to Hagra. 2 colors and a black enchantment. It has the Landfall ability, so whenever you play a land, it'll trigger. Target creature gets +1/+0 and Deathtouch till end of turn. Or each opponent loses 1 life and gains 1 life. So this card's sweet because it's going to be able to give your Kelsien the Deathtouch that you need if you don't have it already. And if you do, and they don't have any creatures left, because that's probably what happens when Kelsien has Deathtouch, you just get to start draining everybody for 1 and gaining 1. Card's sweet. It's nice. You won't be able to activate it as an instant speed too often unless you have fetch lands or something like Evolving Wilds or along that line. But you could definitely play those types of cards to make sure that your Kelsien's active on their turn with Deathtouch if you don't have the artifact. So,
yeah,
sweet
for sure.
Card.
Yep. Yeah, super sweet. So that's the last one of our suggestions for the upgrades. So we're going to talk a little bit about a couple of the cards here and there that we would actually take out of this deck as suggestions. As we've talked about in the previous videos in this cycle, we think Bonder's Ornament is okay, not great. There's definitely some better options there. It is better if you've got a bunch of people running it, but if you're playing the precons against each other, that's fine. Otherwise, you can definitely get a better rate for that card.
My distaste for Bonder's Ornament grows every video we do.
It just gets worse and worse and worse. Yeah. And then the other one is the Impetus cards. In this deck, they're probably not super great. You don't really care if people aren't attacking you because you're pinging them all down.
Yeah, so they're not attacking us anyways because we're just going to kill them.
Yeah, you're just going to kill their creatures, so you can just take those right out.
Yeah.
I think this is the first one, too, that we both agreed that taking the face card out is probably
Jarina Kudro just doesn't do anything if you're not casting it from the command zone. Giving your creatures +2/+0 isn't really enough to warrant the creature, so that's okay. Not every face commander stays in the deck. And don't forget Cavalry Pegasus. Take Cavalry Pegasus out of this deck, guys. I get it. It gives your humans flying, but you don't need a 2-mana 1/1 Pegasus just hanging around for fun.
Not worth important. It in this deck.
Not at all. Not even a little bit.
A couple of the other ones, Magus of the Disc.
Yeah.
Dearly Departed.
Nothing you really need. You're going to be killing creatures all the time. Like, Magus of the Disc is nice that it can hit enchantments, but there's other ways to do that in white.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Yeah, if you definitely can look through, you can get some of those staples. You can get your...
Return to Dust.
Return to Dust. That's the one I was thinking of.
Yeah, that one's sweet.
Yeah, that one's super sweet. And then Heirloom Blade is okay, not great. Like you're definitely going to be using your other equipment a lot more than an Heirloom Blade in this deck.
You want Deathtouch at all points with your equipment for this deck, so that Kelsien just controls everything and grows.
Yep. So that is our upgrades for the Ruthless Regiment deck. Make sure to let us know in the comments what cards you would like to add to the deck. And remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'm Jeremy Noell for John Suarez. Thanks for watching.